My name is Kevin Keane, and I am the Product Strategy Manager for SigmaNEST Software. SigmaNEST Software is a brand focused on empowering manufacturers in the fabrication space. We have 3 technology pillars in our portfolio. The first one is our CAD/CAM suite. We have CAD/CAM software for both flat materials and linear materials. The second technology pillar is our ERP business suite, and that's where we manage the core activities of the business with specific features for fabricators. The third technology pillar is our shop floor suite. That software links the physical world to the digital world, collecting data which we then leverage in the business system to empower decision makers to make the best decisions they can as soon as they can with credible, relevant information. As you can imagine, that's quite a broad portfolio of software. It takes some real effort to manage the different needs of our different user types. The recipe is simple enough, but it requires total commitment. We focus on the users. When we learn how to listen, they will tell us what they need. Every conversation with the customer is a chance to deeply understand a need and how those needs change over time. To supplement that first-hand qualitative information, we use analytics to enable us to understand the effectiveness of individual features and workflows from a quantitative vantage point. Keeping both of those ideas in focus inspires us to design flexible workflows for our users, because our customer base is very diverse. An extra benefit is that we equally strive for flexible implementation, because our own development teams benefit both now and in the future, as the software inevitably evolves with the future-changing market landscape itself. There's been a lot of talk about Industry 4.0, and it's certainly changed our view on software. As much as it is important to build software to drive the day-to-day operational aspects of a business, whether it's quoting and estimating or CAD/CAM programming, Industry 4.0 really keeps us honest and focused on some larger goals. The first one is to have an open platform that is ready to integrate. Architecturally, we expect other tools to connect to ours, and we expect to connect and integrate our software with other tools. Consequently, we prioritize an open, flexible architecture at every chance we can. Another thing that it helps us do is design features holistically. The value of a software feature is more than just the immediate functionality. Now we must ask ourselves and answer, how will this feature provide insight to the end user about their own activities and business? And beyond that, how will that same feature teach us about how well we understand the needs of our customers and how to build better features? We have a lot of different types of users. Broadly speaking, we consider our users to be everybody that has a role to play in the manufacturing cycle. And that's because we have the 3 technology pillars. More specifically, though, in the office, our users consist of the team that provides delivery forecasts and price quotes to customers, and the estimating team. It will also include specific technical roles in the case of CAD/CAM programmers who must prepare work for the primary machines on the factory floor. It will include the team responsible for sourcing and ordering raw materials. In the factory itself, oftentimes it will include the people responsible for planning and scheduling work for the most efficient use of the equipment and the most productive throughput on the factory floor for the different parts being manufactured. Skilled personnel who perform the specific activities during each step of the manufacturing process are often users, machine operators, inspection personnel, whether they're welding, painting, etc., every stop along the way. There are support roles to keep the shop moving. Material handling, they have to check material into the system when it arrives so that it's available for the business to use. Beyond that, other support staff include the team that are responsible for deploying, supporting, and upgrade those software installations, the customer's IT department. We really consider them to be partners, and they have a great responsibility to ensure 24/7, 365 uptime. It takes a lot of talent and creativity to fulfill that mandate, and we're always looking for ways to improve the experience of those vital users. We do, however, have some key principles behind maximizing the benefit of the software. The most important thing is to take a holistic view of the goals and challenges. Some of those are, the first one really is that there's a constant need to improve throughput in today's manufacturing plants. Additionally, there's often a need to manage smaller and smaller quantities and shorter runs with much more frequent changeovers. There's always pressure to improve process reliability and reduce scrap and any rework. Above and beyond that, there's always a goal to keep the machines running and get the highest operating percentage out of every single one. And then we have the tightening supply chains everywhere. Whether that's temporary or permanent remains to be seen, but it absolutely matters today. Energy costs are changing and are variable even at the best of times. And more everywhere around the world, there's more discussion about working in ways to promote sustainability, managing our ecological footprint, and all of that. Another factor that really presents itself today is the changing face and skill set of the employee populations. We heard from our customers everywhere that we seem to be at a tipping point where the deep skills, old-style training, and experience of the past is giving way to a new generation of employees who expect the technology in the workplace to be at least as capable as the technology in their personal lives. That's not a small request when you think about how technology has changed in your personal life. Another thing that really matters for us to realize is that every individual person's contribution and activity creates the integrated activity that is the core purpose of the business. Manufacturing is not a bunch of individuals. Manufacturing is a team sport. Now, of course, we can say that, but how does that affect what we do? Well, we shift our attention back to the individual users at each step in the process. We ask ourselves a few simple questions about every single one. We ask ourselves, what information do they need in order to perform their unique activities that add value to each part as it moves through the factory? How can we make that better? If we can do that, that leads to much greater effectiveness all down the value chain. The next thing we ask is, what needs to be measured about each activity in order to understand the cost and benefit of it? How can we better capture those measurements along the way so that we have the information we need to help management? Improvements of that type lead to greater efficiency. Of course, it all comes down to decisions in the end. Who makes what decisions, whether it's by management or people on the factory floor. But one thing we know is that decisions are being made with very imperfect information. So the challenge is, what information, if we can accurately, promptly, and elegantly organize and present it, can really improve the quality of the conversations in the organization, in turn leading to more high-quality decisions being made faster with metrics to back them up and check them, because if we have the right metrics, we can even check the decisions we're making. This is the new reality, the need to be agile, the need to understand our operation in real time. One example, and it's not if this happens, it's when it happens. When a machine breaks down on the factory floor, or if material becomes unavailable, we have a problem. We need to know which customers are affected by this and put a plan in place to deal with it. The plan might mean anything from moving the work to a different machine. We might outsource the work to a supplier or even a competitor. But we may need to contact the customer to renegotiate the delivery dates or take some other measure to alleviate the situation and make sure we don't lose a good, loyal customer. The ability to know what's happening in real time and respond is super important. If you don't know what's happening in your factory, it becomes very difficult to predictably take those measures. It becomes much more difficult to do it repeatedly while understanding how it affects your own profitability. So, And once we have those principles, the question becomes, how do we use those? Well, they bring clarity, and they remind us that we strive to bring as much clarity to our users as possible. We try to simplify our users' interfaces and simplify, the experience for them. We try to remove or automate steps whenever we can. We also try to, identify and collect the right data points. As I said, the recipe is simple. Just listen to your customers, understand them, and empower them to understand themselves. But it's not easy. It does require us to keep changing and improving ourselves, our processes, and our technology right along with our customers. Which, we live in a world of constant change. The need for training is always an area of focus, and that even more and more today is an area of increased focus. To the degree that we can simplify the user experience, we can reduce that need. There's less to train if less has changed. This reduces a burden on all of our users and their management, and it improves user satisfaction. Another real issue today is software security. There are so many threats out there that we can't ignore it. For us, it's a major focus that has bubbled to the surface of more conversations with customers everywhere. We work to keep our knowledge, our tools, and our practices up to date and stay state-of-the-art in this area. One of the real game-changing things to enter in our market space is AI and IoT, machine learning. These technologies are going to change our work and your work in ways that we don't even understand yet. IoT, of course, allows more devices to digitally participate in the business to whatever degree. They provide streams of data to be consumed by other parts of the business, whether it's sensors or controls or whatever. AI will surely speed up the process of and amplify the value of good data analysis. I can certainly imagine a future where there are AI helper agents that make it easier to predict, easier to understand, and easier to communicate the downstream effect of decisions and facilitate, what-if scenarios and experimental scenarios that are out of reach today. In other areas, I can see AI lowering the cost of manufacturing by recognizing opportunities to improve processes based on historical data about machines, cutting tools, raw materials, part features, tolerances, process costs, and other factors. It might be bigger than that. There may well be a larger scaled effort that involves the machine builders, CAD and CAM softwares, everybody. We know that together we are all going to work together to transform the digitalization of the industry.